Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamualaikum. Ji ayanu, pakhair agale, ni hao, chunishumme, washmale. Ohio gozaimasu, guten Morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal? Hale shuma chatore, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaba. Buna mucho gracias, swabi, balli kare aaya. Hoş geldin and ayasayo, khuyamora, chivatto, chihal, yod, kalimera, khairutan. And a very warm welcome to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and watching World this morning. Alongside my wonderful colleague who happens to be Miss Eesha Rehan. I happen to be Shahzad ZadKhan, and we hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your day with us. But first things first, hello Eesha, assalamu alaikum. How are you doing today, and have you started a tuition service? What's going on our table?
Yeah. I am doing absolutely great, and no, I have not started a tuition service. I am very well prepared for today's interviews and our perfect guests that are here today. I'm so excited to ask them questions, which is why I think
wow, that's wonderful, and I certainly like it. I should appreciate it. And for people who actually get up, dress up, and they actually prepare themselves for the day that is actually ahead of them, ladies and gentlemen, are the people who will certainly taste success in their life. But while we are over here, obviously it's the women's Pakistan cricket team which is tasting success as of now.
Exactly. You know, they have been making their place in the world, and I cannot wait to announce that the Pakistani women's cricket team is currently leading the ICC Women's World Cup qualifier after victorious over Ireland, Scotland and the West Indies. They will face Thailand on April 17th and Bangladesh on April 19th at Gaddafi Stadium. The top two teams will qualify for the World Cup.
Wow, that's wonderful. Looks like
how fascinating.
Pakistani women cricket team is actually doing wonderfully well under the leadership of Mr. Mohammad Wasim as well. But since it's the Pakistan Super League's 10th edition, which is underway in Rawalpindi as of now, yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, Karachi Kings was actually able to defeat Lahore Qalandars, and it was after 5 games that they have played against Lahore Qalandars that they were able to do that. So imagine Lahore Qalandars outplayed Karachi Kings by 65 runs in the 6th match of Pakistan Super League 2025 in Karachi. Earlier, Lahore Qalandars captain Shaheen Shah Afridi won the toss and elected to bat. Batting first, Lahore Qalandars scored 201 runs for the loss of 6 wickets in allotted 20 overs. Qalandars lost 2 quick wickets at 25 runs. Fakhar Zaman and Darren Mitchell then added 125 runs stand for the 3rd wicket partnership. In addition to this, obviously today it's going to be Islamabad United who are actually going to face Multan. Sultans. Going to be a tough competition. Islamabad United will take on Multan Sultans today in the 77th match of PSL, 7th match of PSL season 10 at Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. The match is set to begin at 8 p.m. and will be broadcast live on PTV Sports HD. So far, both teams have faced each other in 16 matches, with each team winning 8 games. Islamabad United, having won both their matches in the current edition, is on top with 4 points, and that's exactly how the points table look. It's Islamabad United, then Lahore Qalandars, and yes, at the bottom, ladies and gentlemen, the second last number is Multan Sultan, and it's going to be a tough competition today. So let's see whether what's going to happen. And to kind of speak further more about it, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by a sports analyst and expert, Mr. Mohammad Owais. Hello, Mohammad. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today, brother?
Walaikum assalam. How are you, Shahzad bhai? Feeling good, but would have been much better if Karachi Kings could have won the match today.
That's great, but यार मैं ना अब एक मसले में फंस गया हूँ. ये मुझे सर बोल रही है, आप मुझे भाई बोल रहे हैं. मैं किधर पहुँच चुका हूँ जिंदगी में? मैं जिंदगी में कहाँ पहुँच चुका हूँ? मुझे ये बता दो पहले.
मैं आपको पता है, मैं हमेशा आपको भाई कहता हूँ, तो शहजाद भाई कहूँगा.
Let's get started. Thank you so much for all the love and respect, Abbas, and thank you so much for taking our time. So Islamabad United to face Multan Sultan. First of all, let's see, what do you have to say as an expert?
It's going to be a great match because, I mean, if you just talk about Islamabad United, they have got the whole firepower. The management has been doing a superb job. The middle order, if you talk about the opening department, especially about Sajeel Farhan, the way he has been carrying his domestic performances to the Pakistan Super League, a guy who's has around more than 400s till now in this season, I would say. So he has been in a superb form. I remember, if you remember, he was a supplementary pick for Islamabad United. So he has made that impact what Alex Sales used to do for Islamabad United. So that's a full gel-up squad of Islamabad. They are performing well. So it won't be easy for Multan Sultan, and especially in the Pindi wicket. But a little bit about the Pindi wicket, if you just, because even Shahzad, if you just remember the Pindi wicket, it's more it's flavor of runs, I would say. But unfortunately, in the start of the Pakistan Super League, if you remember, the Pindi wicket was a little bit slow, but slow and steady. Now you see high-scoring games going on over here. Multan Sultan, again, I know it's a PSL, but obviously Rizwan as a captain of Pakistan will feel that pressure to make an impact for Multan Sultan away. I know his innings was brilliant in the last match, but he needs to make an impact as a captain. He needs to win for Multan Sultan. It won't be easy, but for me, both the sides look balanced, but it's quite early to say what team would be favourites to win the PSL, but Islamabad United are hot favourites.
Exactly, and which is why I've asked, I think what I really need to kind of talk about, first of all, let's speak about Islamabad United. Now, Islamabad United, obviously, they happen to be the defending champions as well, but they look very balanced side as well. It looks like as if Shahzad has got a bowler for every option that he might want to opt, so may it be Imad or may it be any Shahzad coming in himself as well from the middle orders after the power play. How do you think that these bowling changes which we have witnessed within the Islamabad United playing 11 have actually had a greater impact? Not just that, obviously, I'm not taking out Azam Khan, Colin Munro and Saibzada Farhan. So how do you see the balance and the fix of Islamabad United against any team?
Shahzad
obviously, I think, what you're trying to mention over here is that Islamabad United, the way that they have actually picked up their squad and the playing 11, it looks like as if, they're not going to actually leave anything behind or any stone unturned as well. But on the other hand, on the contrary, Eesha, if you are to speak about Multan Sultans, Mohammad Rizwan actually happens to be the skipper. He scored a wonderful century the other day as well. But what happened was that when, if they made 200 runs, they actually let the other team make the 200 runs as well or chase them as well. So coming back to you, Owais, once again, first the quick fix of Islamabad United, as if it looks like very balanced with all the bowling options, with the middle order and with the top order sorted.
Yeah, like I told you, because the tournaments are always won by the bowlers, and bowlers do play a vital role in winning the tournaments. And if you just compare the Islamabad United with the other teams, because the bowling unit has been perfectly playing a vital role for them. Even Shahzad Khan's captaincy, because the changes what he does in the field placement. If you talk about Imad Wasim, he has been leading the Islamabad United spin attack. Especially if you talk about the other teams, unfortunately, still now in 2 matches, for instance, Karachi Kings. If you just talk about the other teams, Peshawar Zalmi, their bowlers have conceded more than 400 runs. So Islamabad United, that's an impact what they make on the spin bowling unit. The youngster, which performed really superbly well in the last match, he's performing well. So they have got that all gelled up unit. But I remember everyone was speaking about Islamabad United opening department, especially about Alex Hales, that he will be the main candidate missing factor for Islamabad United. But what Saibzada has been performing well, because it's an important thing. When you talk about a league, and especially if you're home league, your local players need to perform. They need to be a hero for the local leagues. And Saibzada Farhan has been doing a superb job for them. But again, I'm telling you, for Multan Sultan, they have got a big dugout. They have got good point set over there. Abdul, one of the best coaches in the domestic cricket. He's served for Pakistan. They won't be easy in this match. They will be definitely making something out over here. So it will be a match to watch on. But Rizwan, I personally feel so again, would be a little bit under pressure.
Whereas the only problem that I see with Multan is that, that if they're making 200 runs, what they're doing is, or their bowlers are doing is that they're allowing the other team to actually chase those 200 runs as well. So how do you see that Multan really needs to come up with, bowling changes which are smart, wise, and that it can actually help them get wickets?
See, Shahzad, for me, the toss would definitely play a crucial role in the Pindi wicket over here, because if you just talk about even yesterday, remember the dew factor, the dew was there. So I personally thought that Karachi Kings losing the toss, getting to bat second would be easy to chase on. But when you talk about the Pindi wicket over here, dew factor does not play that kind of a role. So the toss would be definitely mattering a lot for me, because Multan Sultan has got that firepower in them. Because they have got Rizwan, who has been consistently performing well for them. They have got center power. But it's, again, I'm telling the bowling changes, especially for Multan Sultan, would crucial role, because they have got some good players sitting up in the dugout. They need to get them into here. But it's again, I'm telling you, I don't know whether would they go with that squad what they carried in the last match, but it would be important, because many teams, unfortunately, again, I'm telling you, even if it's Karachi, even if it's the other teams, like for instance, Karachi has got a superb Abbas Afridi isn't performing for them. Even in the last match, if you see, he got around 40 runs. You have got Amir Jamal sitting up, who could be a great choice as an all-rounder. So they need to make some changes, and it would be a great contest to watch on. But Multan, again, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
All right. Owais, Multan Sultan have been very consistent this season, especially under Rizwan's captaincy. So what do you think is different about his leadership style this season?
See, what I've worked with Rizwan, I remember even in my shows, even in while speaking to Shahzad in one of the shows, I told that what I know Rizwan, if as a captain, the domestic structure for KP, as a captain for Multan Sultan, he's one of the characters who does listen to the coach, but when he just steps in the field, he says that I'm the captain, I'm the guy who's leading. What I will do, what the team does. That you guys need to do on here. If you remember in the last press conference, if I just talk about 2 to 3 main players, Rizwan, Babar Azam, Shaheen Shah Afridi, from the start of the tournament, even in the tournament press conference, you can see from their faces that that pressure is on them. It's heated up. They want to perform well. They want to show everyone that yes, we are capable. We are representing Pakistan over here because the performance has been not that up to that mark. Rizwan as a captain, he leads well. He has been leading Multan Sultan very quickly because, like I told you, because he's got that authority in the Multan Sultan, what he wasn't having in the Pakistan team. Even he mentioned in the press conference. So everyone will be having an eye on him. But again, I'm telling, Abdul Rahman is a very good coach for Multan Sultan. The way he's led Multan Sultan as a head coach, he's doing a superb job. He knows the domestic structure well. He knows what player can perform at what position. So they have got some players who can actually play as a shift changer for them. So it's a good side to watch on. But again, this is a league which has just started on. So except Peshawar Zalmi, I don't think so. They would play. They won't play the playoff because the situation going on right now. They won't play the playoff. But it's a quick decision to make on which team would be favourite. But Multan Sultan, the amount of cricket what they carry, and especially the pressure what's going on, Rizwan, I guess it will be a dangerous side too. But he will have that in his mind that I need to perform well today.
Exactly. So just to wrap it up, Owais, what changes do you think Multan Sultan really needs to make within their playing 11 for today's game, number one? And number two, what has already happened? So imagine that Hassan Ali comes in Pakistan Super League, gets 4 wickets, for the minimum runs that he's given at an economy of 7. Then there is Shaheen Shah Afridi, gets 2 early wickets and then later on gets a wicket as well. So what is happening? Do you think that we need to believe that they're back in form, or is it the Pakistani wickets doing the magic?
Shahzad, for me, because I work with the franchises, and what I personally feel is that when the Pakistan Super League starts on, because many of the smart franchises, what they do is that, okay, fine, they do work for the stardom because they have spent money, they want to win the franchise, they want to win the Pakistan Super League. But when you talk about building a character, it's obviously built in the domestic structure. Pakistan Super League is a showcase kind of a thing. The issue is that if you talk about the dugouts of every team, they have got star-studded players from the youngsters who can perform really well for Pakistan, for the teams, for the Pakistan Super League. But again, as a stardom, they don't get that kind of chances. They can't just get 1 or 2 chances. They can't show the expression what they're capable of representing. Hassan Ali, he has played a lot of domestic structure. You know that. Before this Pakistan Super League, he has consistently played domestic structure. Even if you just listen to him in the press conference yesterday, he looked much matured. The way he was speaking and the way he's bowling, especially even in the initial match of Karachi, which Karachi won. The bowlers were leaking many runs. It was around 10 or 11 runs per over, but bowled well in the patches. He was hitting right length over there. Even yesterday, if you just watch out, he's getting good nip, he's getting good pace over there. So Hassan Ali back into the form over here. Shaheen Shah Afridi, if you just remember on, I'm telling you, because the situation right now going on with Shaheen, obviously he's under pressure because of his performance, because of his captaincy, what he had done for Pakistan. So he's under a lot of scrutiny. But yesterday, the way he was getting the ball to turn in, David Warner, I don't think that shot was used to play on, because if you just see David Warner, I don't know what was going on in his mind. He just made that room, which actually got the snake out. Wins that he was literally a bad trap. That was not a shot to play on. But Shaheen Shah Afridi looked literally brutal yesterday with the captaincy, with the bowling unit. But we need to go for new faces. See, it's important. You need to break this. You need to go for new faces. Give them some chances. You have got a year. 7 to 8 months for the World Cup coming up. So Pakistan Super League, again, I'm telling you, it's important because
Thank you so much for these amazing insights, Owais. We really appreciate it, and we're so excited to see this upcoming match at 8 p.m. today.
Thank you so much, Abbas, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you. So, Eesha, how do you see PSL taking place? Do you see the PSL matches or games?
Oh, actually, to be honest, I am not a very hardcore cricket fan. We usually watch the Pakistan versus India cricket match in our house. Where I'm very blank about what has been happening, but I'm so glad that you are pumped up and excited.
Thank you so much. But, you know, we do know for a fact that you've always been an avid football player and a netball player as well. You know, you've been the goalkeeper for a team of yours as well. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've got a good news to share for all of those Pakistanis who are out there. And the good news is that Fitch Ratings has upgraded Pakistan's long-term foreign currency issuer default rating to be from CCC plus with the stable outlook. The upgrade reflects Fitch's increased confidence that Pakistan will sustain its recent progress on narrowing budget deficits and implementing structural reforms. In a statement, Finance Minister Mohammad Aurangzeb welcomed the Pakistan's upgrade by Fitch Ratings. An upgrade is a strong expression of confidence in our economic reforms and policies. Mohammad Aurangzeb said Fitch has declared Pakistan's economic outlook as stable.
As we dive into our next news, I would like to compliment you on your voice, Shahzad, because it is so booming and our voice shapes our identity, which is why we are observing World Voice Day today.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Okay, World Voice Day is being observed today, and to recognize the significance of human voice and raise awareness about issues regarding it. The day also provides an opportunity to acknowledge the importance of vocal health, expression and communication. This year's theme is Empowering Your Voice, which encourages people to develop confidence, to express themselves and advocate what they believe in. So if you want to be as confident as Shahzad, make sure to practice your speaking skills today.
Exactly. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's about time that, you know, Eesha, now I'll have to, you know, share with you how you really need to do it, you know. So you connected it with my voice, but now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to connect it with the voice which is really important and essential for Pakistan. We do know how in foreign remittances, there's billions of dollars which actually come to our country, and it's about time that we hear their voices. How are we doing that? Is because of the Honorable Prime Minister of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, Mian Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif Saab, who came up with this idea that we really need to have an Overseas Pakistanis convention. And not just that, while we're talking about this convention, which officially was inaugurated on Monday, which was yesterday, 1,100, almost 1,100 Pakistanis from 60 countries have flown to Pakistan to attend the Overseas Convention.
That is a massive amount.
Yes, and not just that. Now, imagine that most of the time that the grievances that we record are usually from NADRA, FIA, Passport Office, and, you know, all of these government institutes which are really supposed to be out there and help our overseas Pakistanis. All of them actually set up their kiosks and tables and were present within the convention. And to kind of answer and speak more about this convention, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who actually happens to be an entrepreneur. He's traveling all the way from Malaysia. He is Mr. Usman Nisar Chaudhary. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
I'm good. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you over here. And we have you over here because we certainly want the overseas Pakistanis to raise their voices about whatever concerns they have related to coming to Pakistan, you know, property transfers, NADRA, passport, FIA, so whatever. So first of all, how do you see this idea of our Honorable Prime Minister, Mian Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif Saab?
Well, first of all, I would really like to thank the current government, our Prime Minister, Mian Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif Saab, and also our Army Chief for taking up this initiative and welcoming us, giving us the status of state guest.
Yes.
First time ever in the history of Pakistan, I think after many years, this kind of convention has been happening in Pakistan.
Alhamdulillah.
And they call us the backbone of the
Pakistan's economy.
Yeah, and we have actually surpassed your exports. 33 billion. Now it is around 38 billion remittance, which is coming from overseas Pakistan.
Yeah, I think last year it was somewhere at 30 to 31 billion dollars. If it's at 38 billion dollars now, I think it's a big achievement now once again. Wonderful.
Just March number is 4.1 billion.
Yeah, wow.
All right. Mr. Chaudhary, you moved abroad in 2007 to Malaysia, living as an overseas Pakistani. What do you think are the biggest challenges that you face and other overseas Pakistanis face when trying to give back and invest back into our country?
Right. So you see, the first thing first, you see, we have, you need to understand that we are in developed countries.
Yes.
And but we are deeply rooted in Pakistan. We want to contribute back to the society when we achieve something. So especially for Pakistani who wants to invest back in Pakistan, there are a lot of challenges. One is, of course, which our Prime Minister, Mia Mohammed Shahbaz Sahab mentioned as well, red fita, they call it red tape. So that is one challenge that we face, obstacles. But thanks to our Army Chief, he had a firing speech yesterday. The whole crowd was so energized by his speech. He was very precise, especially when we talk about the brain drain, they call it.
Exactly.
So he said this is brain gain, not brain drain.
Ah, and you spin to it. I love that.
Yeah, and I would want to kind of build up on that. Now imagine that, okay, unfortunately, we do know for a fact that we are a developing nation, right? That's understood. But that one thing that we could actually kind of capitalize on is human resource. We have an abundance of population over here where 60% of the population is youth, and we really need to make sure that we export them so that we can import a lot of remittance, right? What is your take on making sure that Pakistan really needs to capitalize on their human resource?
Right. So you see, very beautiful, very right question, Shahzad Sahab. The thing is, I say in my words that everything from Pakistan can be exported, including our youth.
Yep.
So when you talk about youth, you see right now in the international market, you can't simply just send unskilled workers.
Yes.
True.
You need to train them. You need to give them the full skill set that is required in order for us to cater them in the international market. So what we really requesting the government is to develop some sort of skill training centers here, which we are already working on, which are required internationally. And of course, various countries in the world require different kind of skilled labors.
True.
Like if you talk about Malaysia, not just Malaysia and the ASEAN region, especially Malaysia is a manufacturing hub. So we require to have those skilled trained workers who can actually contribute into the manufacturing sector. Then
Exactly,
second,
yes.
yeah,
As the world is moving towards upskilling and upgrading their lifestyle, we need to have practical implementations of how to use our knowledge in the practical way of life. I love that. I love that.
Exactly. So which is why in addition to this, now let's talk about, with the formal inauguration yesterday, obviously the respected Army Chief was over there as well, and the Prime Minister of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan was there. All the ministers were there, all those stakeholders were there alongside the most important stakeholder, the state guest, 1,100 overseas Pakistanis. Now, because since you've mentioned that, that these were the areas that we were going to have a discussion upon. Now, if we are to kind of separately discuss all of those areas, which area do you think happens to be one of the most important that probably, 1,100 overseas Pakistanis from 60 countries were talking about? And what were the solutions posed by the government of Pakistan that, hey, you know what, we're going to settle this for all of you?
Right. So you see, there are two segments to it. Number one, Army Chief's speech, which is honestly, till now I get goosebumps. The way he fired up the whole crowd. And what happened was, during his speech, he ensured that, you see, there are two categories of the overseas Pakistani diaspora. True. Number one is the one who wants to invest back in Pakistan. So anybody who wants to invest back into Pakistan, Army Chief gave the confidence, full confidence that you come in, the moment you will invest, only then the foreigners will follow through.
True.
So the thing is, but then there are certain sectors who are already identified where we can bring in our investment. So my personal interest, very close to my heart, is mining. Yeah. Which, of course, we just recently had a conference here as well on mining as well. Yeah. Which is also a big industry.
And SIFC is doing a great job at it as well. But, I think because you've mentioned about the speech as well, and I think that one thing that which, a lot of overseas Pakistanis think about is the political instability, unfortunately, which has been very prevalent till the time that this government actually took up. So, alhamdulillah, by now or by far, it looks like as if, things are actually stable as well. How was the response after the Army Chief's speech of the overseas Pakistanis? Was it that, okay, we're going to be very confident about what you have said and we'll start to invest? Because I've seen how people have gifted ambulances to Pakistan Army, how there were other people who've actually brought in medical equipment, so that it could be actually given to Pakistan Army or Pakistan government. So did it look like as if people are now going to have confidence within our political stability and within our own institutions, and how the government and the establishment is actually playing a role?
Right. So you see, it's a very, very good question, Shahzad Sahab. The thing is, how was the response? It was a 5-minute standing ovation for the Army Chief.
Wow.
With a loud clap.
Yeah.
Wow.
So people were cheering about it and they were praising. Now coming back to your question, you see, the thing is, it has built my confidence as well.
Wonderful.
That yes, we under the leadership, we can bring in the investment in Pakistan, especially in the mining sector.
Exactly. And they're saying that we might have, you know, probably minerals worth $6 trillion, which we really need to capitalize on as well. So, you know, for example, as an overseas Pakistani, what expertise will you bring to Pakistan, which you can certainly see that, okay, I can contribute towards the mining sector? Let's get there now.
So just one thing which is very important in Pakistan, you see right now, whatever the mining sector which is performing at the moment, it is very conventional.
Okay.
And time consuming and costly. So what we are, and of course then they export ore, only ore to the overseas. So what happened is, there is no value addition. So all the value addition happens abroad.
Yeah.
So the actual miner or actual exporter, they don't get the actual benefit. So imagine, I just put it this way, simple nutshell, a $1 product, then they do the value addition and then they sell it for $10.
Oh.
True.
So the whole margin has been taken up overseas. So why don't we set up the smelting plants or concentration plants locally, and we benefit from the whole junk of it.
Exactly.
That is such an interesting piece of advice. And Mr. Chaudhary, I would like to ask that you are a respected entrepreneur with a lot of experience. So our Prime Minister declared this convention to be a very historic piece, a very historic moment. Yep. So he said that he would listen to all the demands of the overseas Pakistanis. So what were your top 3 demands?
Yeah, fair demands.
Yeah.
So I tell you.
Practical demands.
I tell you, first of all, I really want to thank our Prime Minister, Shahbaz Sharif Saab. He personally gave me time to meet him.
Wow.
And I briefed him on this mining and mineral sector, the potential in Pakistan. And after that meeting, it was quite beneficial as well. He connected me with the right people. And regarding our convention yesterday, I think this initiative is really remarkable, and we as an overseas Pakistani want to have more of them in Pakistan.
Exactly. Now, I think what we really need to kind of talk about over here is that okay, now the confidence is there and overseas Pakistanis are thinking, you are ready to share your expertise, you're ready to share the value addition, you're ready to, you know, share methodologies with which we can actually advance the way that we are actually mining already. Number one, we got that. Now, obviously people from different walks of life came over here. Everybody must have had their own reservations. In terms of reservations, how quick do you think that the apparatus will be set up so that we could resolve the issues of the overseas Pakistanis for however or whatever has been kind of somewhere standing within the way of them to do business in Pakistan or invest in Pakistan or ask for exports from Pakistan?
Right. So you see, there are a few challenges, especially overseas Pakistan. One is, of course, our land issues.
Yep.
And then second is sometimes when we need to do our renewals of passport or renewal of ID cards. And
all that. Everything is online.
It is online. And another thing that they have taken the initiative of doing the land records online.
Yep.
So which is the first office has been formed, which was informed by our Honorable Prime Minister in London.
Yep.
So which will be, of course, later on will be applied in other countries as well. So there are one thing which I really want to highlight, which is, you see, we come from developed countries, you name it, Dubai, of course we travel frequently, Malaysia and all other countries. The airports are so huge, but then the moment we land here at Lahore airport, it's like a fish market. 2 or 3 flights together and then you can't even find your luggage.
Yes.
And it's like a havoc.
But you must have landed at Islamabad then. Yeah, because it's recently developed as well. But I do know for a fact, and you know, at times when you actually land at Karachi or Lahore, it feels like as if, you know, earlier when you used to land in Islamabad, you know, before the newer airport, obviously it looked like as if I don't know where I am now. But I think with time, obviously, these advancements will take place, and we certainly want Pakistan to be at that front. Not just that. I think I would want our duty-free shops to do well, yeah. You know, there's hardly any duty-free shop that you see over here at the Pakistani international airports, right?
So yes, and one thing, which of course, since you talk about duty-free, so Prime Minister, our Honorable Prime Minister, Mia Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif Saab, he mentioned yesterday that the green channel will be on in next 7 days.
Oh.
That's what he mentioned. So when you are at the airport, so you can just come out of the green channel.
Wow.
Wow, that is so interesting to hear. And you know, I'm so glad that Sir was here today. He gave us such thoughtful and interesting things to think about. And you know, while we got your profile in our group chat last night, so I got very intimidated because you know, you had so much of an experience, you lived abroad, and you were a well-known, respected entrepreneur. So I thought you would have a very daunting personality, but you're so cheerful, mashallah, and it was very insightful having these discussions with you.
And you know, you will always see successful people with a lot of humility and love for their country as well. So thank you so much, Owais Saab, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you, sir. Usman Saab, you know, it was wonderful. Anything that you would want to say before we wrap up this segment, please go ahead. The screen is all yours. Look into their eyes, you know, say whatever you want to say to all of those Pakistanis who didn't come to the convention.
Well, I would really like to highlight one thing, that I would like to thank our Prime Minister, Mia Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif Saab, and the Army Chief for organizing such a beautiful event yesterday. And one thing I want to say to the overseas Pakistanis, that if you want to invest in Pakistan, now is the time, and especially in the mining sector. And wherever you are, keep your flag high always.
Exactly. Well, that's wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. So may you be in Pakistan or may you not be in Pakistan. Dil Hamisha Pakistani hai, and you know the flag is always there as well. But thank you so much, Usman Saab, for being with us. Lovely to be in participation with you. And the entire Pakistani nation thanks you for coming to Pakistan for the Overseas Convention and putting Pakistan first. Thank you so much.
Thank
Pakistan
you so
Zindabad.
much.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, obviously these entrepreneurs, people, you know, from different walks of life who've made their way to Pakistan for the Overseas Convention are the Pakistanis who've always put Pakistan up front. Now imagine that, you know, people from different walks of life will always make sure that they contribute towards Pakistan and Pakistan's progress through their services. For example, Eesha over here, making sure that early this morning, she's going to speak about how Pakistan is doing wonderful things. Now imagine that it is our responsibility that we share love with all of those people who might not be around us, but have certainly contributed to the diaspora, certainly contributed towards what we call the arts, culture and crafts as well, which is why today we are remembering Babu Baral Saab, because Babu Baral Saab began his professional career as a comedian from Gujranwala in 1982. After some time, he started work at Open Air Theatre in Bagh Jinnah, Lahore. He was awarded Tamga Imtiaz and Sitara Imtiaz for his services. He passed away on this day in 2011 in Lahore. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajoon. May his soul rest in peace. And sir, your services will always be remembered by all those Punjabi audiences you've had, with all of those Punjabi fans that you've had. And in fact, just yesterday, I don't want to say that, but I was actually watching one of your stage dramas too.
Exactly. And you know, yesterday we were talking about global warming and how the sun is heating up the world. But the sun does not just only heat up the world. For centuries before, it was used to actually track astronomical events and was used as a calendar.
Really?
So diving into this, it's just very fascinating. So diving into this new news, in Turkey, a team from the University of Edinburgh may have uncovered the world's oldest solar calendar at the archaeological site of Golketi Tepe, a temple-like complex dating back 12,000 years. The markings carved into the ancient stones seem to track solar movements, record seasons, days, and even single astronomical events. This suggests that humans may have used symbols to understand long time before modern tools, rewriting what we know about early civilization. That is so interesting.
Wow,
you know,
I never
we have
knew.
clocks and alarms now, but back in the day, people used the moon and the stars and the sun to track everything.
Exactly, and not just that, I think in addition to this, ladies and gentlemen, I would want you to kind of come down to a fountain, you know, because imagine sun's going to create the heat, where fountain will actually help you kind of reduce the heat as well. There's a unique fountain in Hale in Saudi Arabia displaying the most fascinating designs. A video posted on Instagram shows the fountain at a round table showcasing various designs associated with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The colorful display shows an Arabian horse, a clock, as well as the sword and the declaration of faith, both parts of the Saudi flag. The innovative fountain is leaving many people awestruck, and it looks wonderful as well. I mean, it'll be so good to actually kind of witness such a fountain, probably, you know, if you're parking your car within your own garage, if you're coming out, if you're at a public park. I think Pakistan mein log nahane hi shuru ho jayenge uske andar. So I don't know whether, so it needs to be somewhere up there where people cannot just go and be like, yaar, aaj garmi badi hai, naha lete hain, you know. So I think we really need to kind of adapt to the way that people are, you know. So Eesha, do you know that when Pizza Hut or, you know, all of these franchises actually come to Pakistan, they actually have to kind of innovate within their own existing recipes, because because
Oh,
we ignore
yes.
masalas. And do you know why we always get recognized कि ये Pakistani है? Because
of our
masale की
spices,
खुशबू आती है,
our
mashallah.
garlic,
So
and our
yeah, so the fountain
tikkas.
needs to be somewhere up there as well. But in addition to this, there's another interesting mention. That is that a team of archaeologists and paleontologists from Argentina, the US and China has found the first known example of a fossilized skeleton of a dinosaur species with evidence of air pockets in its bones. The team members in their papers published in the journal PLOS ONE have documented details on how they found the first known fossil of an Alvarezsauriad, which were a family of a long-legged dinosaurs, its present condition, and the pneumaticity or air pockets in most of its bones. Wow. I mean, I don't know. We keep on looking for air in bones.
Yeah, now bones can breathe
and
apparently.
an entire team of scientists from China, US and elsewhere got together to figure that out. So it's beautiful, ladies and gentlemen, and it's certainly education which actually helps you shape up or see the world that we see today. And we certainly have spoken about this, that that our curriculums really need to be up to date. We really need to make sure that we're instilling critical thinking within our own children. But are we at the front of it? Are we trying to do it better? Do you think that the public institutions and the private institutions, there will be some time that they'll be at par? If they will be at par, don't you think that they will lose the competition? So we want to build up this conversation with somebody who's actually been at the helm of affairs for a longer period of time. So may it be the University of Bolton over here in Islamabad. She's been heading that. She's got a long profile, alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
she's been wearing several hats. She's been involved with curriculum, education, counseling, and whatnot. And obviously, since my children actually go to the same school as well, so I'm going to ask as many questions as I can. So ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by an educationist herself. She is Miss Naveed. Assalamu alaikum, madam. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
I'm very good. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
Thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful to have you over here. And I will let Eesha lead the conversation.
All right, Ms. Amber, you have an experience of over 25 years in education. I would like to highlight the fact that in Pakistan, we have a big gap between our two main systems. One is the metric FSC system and one is the O-levels and A-level system.
Now there's international baccalaureate as well.
Exactly, the IB system. So, there's a big gap between the curriculum, the courses, the marking schemes, the paper patterns. So how are we going to bridge this gap? What differences is it causing in the output of the students that are coming in universities now?
Okay, so first of all, we need to understand what is curriculum. Curriculum is a framework, which is a live document. It is not that it is once made and cannot be changed. It should be relevant, it should be evolving, and it should not remain the same all the time. Like you said that I think what I have studied, my children are not studying that, and my students are not at all studying at that. And there were few skills which were not there 20 years back.
Yes.
Now currently what we are looking for digital literacy.
True.
We are looking for social emotional intelligence.
Yes.
So we are talking about well-being.
Yes.
So your question is about assessments. So the curriculum is not only assessments.
Yes.
It's the holistic approach. So yes, there were gaps, but both the public and private sectors are working towards filling these gaps in a right direction. So
Exactly.
I won't say that there is, of course we cannot change the world in one day,
True.
but we are working towards that we can fill these gaps in a right direction.
Exactly.
So
thank you so much, madam, for saying this as well, because I do believe that that we really need to change our direction and as quickly as possible. And it's because of the fact that earlier we were like, okay, the curriculum needs to get better. Now, and I must admit, because my three daughters, alhamdulillah, goes to the Roots Millennium School, and one day my daughter came up to me and she was like, Dad, I need your phone. I have to go to this debate contest. And I was like, why do you need my phone? She was like, because they are going to give us a surprise topic and we are supposed to use ChatGPT to take out some points and then do the debate. And I was like, wow, that's wonderful. That's adaptability, right? How do you think that, for all of those people who've been talking about that the curriculum needs to get better, now with this industrial revolution of artificial intelligence, it has changed the dynamics of what may be probably curriculum. So everything cannot fit all, every size cannot fit all. Do you think that now the debate really needs to be about how we should not miss this technological revolution and jump on the bandwagon?
yes, very good question. The thing is that curriculum is there. but how to teach that. It's not about the content. Content is available on internet. You can only, every child, your children can Google it.
True.
They don't need to go to any private school. They can sit at home and they can Google the content.
Exactly.
But how to utilize that content, how to teach that content is important. So I would like to mention over here that the most important thing is the teacher training, the capacity building of our teachers, whether it's public sector, whether it is private sector. So we have to work on the capacity building of our teachers so that they should know that these things, we don't need to be afraid of these things. We have to adapt these things. ChatGPT is not going anywhere.
Do you think we as a nation actually are very weak in adaptability?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Thank you so much for saying that.
Another thing we are weak in is in questioning.
Yes.
We don't question. If I am telling you something, you are just going to say yes.
कि मैडम ने कह दिया ठीक है
Yes.
समझ आई नहीं आई कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता
So-
जी ओके मैडम
Yes.
But I
So-
think it's also embedded in our culture to respect our elders and not
यार ये
to
तो कोई रिस्पेक्ट नहीं है
question.
ना
Respect is there, it is a value, but respect, when you are studying something, when
Yes.
knowledge is real, is there, you need to question. My point over here is that because of this thing, when students question, they don't get the right answers. So
Exactly.
sometimes snub kar diya jata hai. So when they get that, they don't like to question, and they are ready to accept whatever is coming to them. So when there are some students, those who are critically aware and they have a strong critical and analytical thinking,
Exactly.
they would not be able to prosper as they should be. So
Yes.
जिसको हम कहते हैं, mostly we label them as hyperactive children.
Exactly. And madam, in addition to this, you're currently leading a multidisciplinary education consultancy. You're working on projects that span from curriculum modernization to improving educational access and equity. Not just that, one of the flagship effort is the Pakistan 100 initiative. Can you please shed a little bit of light on that?
So this is one thing which I am part of that, which is bringing, it is 100% literacy in Pakistan by 2024. Sorry, 2047.
2047, yes.
So 2047 is when Pakistan would be 100 years old.
Yes.
So we are striving towards that, and we want the access to be 100% there for each and every child to get quality education. So this statement might look very difficult to achieve, that 100% literacy. Of course, it is sometimes it is not possible, but
not achievable.
providing an access to 100% literacy is possible. So I am working with different organizations to work towards that. That where we should be able to bring that thing to our students.
And that's the kind of teachers that we really want. Now, I think one of the most disturbing question for me is that we do see in a lot of households, and I do come across, obviously first you have PhD professors and doctors, who are doing a wonderful job, then you have researchers, then you have graduates, then you have postgraduates, all of that. But now, I think that the culture that I see within the schools, I'm not talking about universities obviously, is that for somebody who was at home and thought, okay, what should I do? Teacher ban jati. How do you think that this culture has actually hurt, where you have spoken about teacher trainings, capacity building and all of that has actually hurt, and how do you think schools really need to be mindful of it?
Yes, so mostly the teachers are default teachers, but now it has been evolved.
Okay.
Now it is becoming very critical for the system, even for public sector and for the private sector, that the teachers should be trained, and both the public sector and the private sector is striving towards that.
Okay.
So the teachers need to have certifications. Then they are able to teach the curriculum whatever is given to them. So we are working
So
towards
is
that.
TMUC doing that?
Yes, there are different school system, all are doing that. So currently I am working with an NGO named Sunbeams.
Okay.
So they are working for marginalized schools, but they also focused on teacher training, and they have teacher training system there in public sector, which is an NGO sector, marginalized schools, and jisme teachers are coming from a background where they don't even know the meaning of teacher training.
Yes, exactly.
But we are there to train them. We are there to help them. So when they are going in the classrooms, they are equipped.
Wonderful.
All right, Miss Amber, I would like to I don't know if this is more of a question or a rant, but I would like to share that when I was in O-levels, so you know, we would have chemistry, bio and physics lessons.
You look like you're in O-levels.
I take that as a compliment, thank you. So when I was in O-levels, so we would have chemistry, bio, physics, all these subjects, and at the same time I had cousins living in the UK who were having the same subjects as well. They were doing their O-levels, but we would go to the lab once a year, right? And we would see this one little experiment happening, and the teacher would do it. But my cousins, they would go to the labs every day. They would conduct those experiments practically with magnets, with chemicals. So yeah, so I want to know, okay, the new curriculum that you are striving to achieve, how are you going to implement a very hands-on experience and a very practical learning approach in it?
So it's not about the curriculum, it's experiential learning.
Yes.
So you have to provide this environment to the student that he should be able to experiment that. I would say that it is called interdisciplinary way of teaching something.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Like if you have one subject, you can teach other subject in the same subject. Like if like you said, that's a science. So in science, you can add mathematics into it. You can add language into it.
Exactly.
So we are going towards that. Of course, the labs are there in the schools, in the colleges. So that is not that you are not allowed to use it. You are allowed to use it, but I would focus that make it more interdisciplinary, so that every subject should be related at what time.
Exactly, and it wraps
so
it
much,
beautifully as well. Thank you so much for your wise words and for your recommendations and your humble submissions as well. And I think that that's the direction that we really need to work on. But while we are over here, ladies and gentlemen, obviously a lot of people are actually celebrating their birthday today. But one of the special child today happens to be Miss Irha Umair Sheikh, who's actually going to celebrate her 6th birthday today.
Aww.
So we're going to sing her a birthday song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Irha. Happy birthday to you. Happy Hajj Day, bete. Please make sure that you know, when you grow up and you see this clip, that you're always a reason for happiness for your parents, alhamdulillah. And please make sure, because, you know, kehte ba-adab, ba-naseeb, and that's the way to success as well. So, Umair Saqib Saab, congratulations to you on your daughter's birthday. And everybody who's celebrating their birthday today, ladies and gentlemen, a very happy Hajj Day to you. Make sure that you write to us at worldthismorning.ptv.com.pk. Until next time, look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3, it's a good morning. Allah Hafiz. Thank you so much, madam.